Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker shills, desolate serfs, peasants, vassals, goofy grapes, choo-choo cherries. I'm a useful idiot, and today I would like to talk about Kool-Aid. And Kool-Aid comes in different flavors. That is my premise. And what I'm actually talking about is the fact that it's a very common phrase amongst conservatives to talk about how the liberals drink the Kool-Aid. Because in spite of the failure of the Obama administration and its policies, and the failure of liberal policies, the liberal base continues to support Obama blindly and supports liberal policies blindly, regardless of what evidence comes in. And I agree with that. I think the liberals do drink Kool-Aid, and they do follow their party leaders and policies blindly. And that is the nature of the party line drone. But let's make things clear, and that is the fact that Kool-Aid comes in different flavors, and the conservatives and Republicans drink Kool-Aid too, just a different flavor. And let me use some examples, of course. So for 8 years of Bush, we had wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And of course the Republicans were all on board for the wars. They were on board for 8 years of wars. And they even said that it was the Americans' duty and liberals' duty to support the president during wartime, and that they didn't love America and were traitors because they didn't support the president during wartime. Yet the very day after Obama took office and he inherits the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, all of a sudden the conservatives and Republicans just have no taste for war anymore. So for the next 4 years after that, of course, they're against all the wars. And then incidentally, the liberals, of course, were against all the wars during the Bush administration, but once Obama took over, they were not only okay with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, they had no problem with all the new wars that Obama started. So they're both drinking the Kool-Aid. Then, of course, during the Bush years, we had the biggest expansion of socialized medicine in U.S. history since Social Security, the Medicare prescription plan. And, of course, the Republicans were all on board for that. They were fine with that. And but then all of a sudden when Obama becomes president, all of a sudden, oh, we can't afford this socialized medicine anymore, and this is Marxism, and this is communism. And in fact, that brings up another good point, and that's the fact that all the bailouts, the TARP, the Fannie and Freddie, the bailout of GM, AIG, Citigroup, all of that was done under Bush, and Obama inherited it. And Bush even came out and said that he had to bypass and cancel free markets in order to save free markets. Pretty outrageous statement. But did anyone ever claim that Bush was a communist Marxist trying to destroy the country from within because he did the bailouts and he did the buyouts? No, they did not. And then as soon as Obama comes into power, he just follows through on all the programs that Bush started. All the bailouts, all the buyouts, GM, Fannie, Freddie, TARP, all of that. And here it is 4 years later, and the conservatives are drinking so much Kool-Aid, they actually believe that all the bailouts and the buyouts were done under Obama. They don't even remember that Bush did it. And so anyway, and then you have all the spending, all the incredible amount of, record amount of spending done during the 8 years of Bush, justified by, billions poured into 2 wars that lasted the entire 8 years of the Bush administration. And of course, Republicans didn't really mind the spending. They didn't mind the spending on the Medicare prescription plan, which we couldn't afford. They didn't mind the war spending. They didn't even mind Bush's attempts at stimulating the economy by injecting money. Then all of a sudden Obama gets into power, and all of a sudden, no, we can't have this spending anymore. No, we can't afford the wars. We can't afford to spend money on stimulus and all this. And I'm not making any judgments on the value of the wars or the value of the stimulus, the value of socialized medicine. That is not the issue here. The issue here is party line drones drinking their Kool-Aid. And how hypocritical it is for one party and one section of party line drones to complain for 4 to 8 years about certain policies, and then the minute the policies are the same but under a different party line drone and a different puppet, and all of a sudden it becomes the most outrageous thing ever. because everybody's drinking Kool-Aid. In fact, everybody's drinking a lot of extra Kool-Aid now because we have an election coming up. So we have all the liberals, in spite of the last 4 years of failure of the Obama administration, liberal policies, they're kind of lining up behind their liberal policies in the Obama administration again. Although I will say that his campaign and his base and his supporters have lost a lot of momentum. There's not much enthusiasm. So they got their work cut out for them. But in a sense, the Republicans are in the same boat. They're seething bloodlust, hate of Obama, and the Democrats will motivate them, but it's still hard for them to line up behind another corporate bootlicker puppet like Mitt Romney. But here's where they drink the Kool-Aid, because the conservatives are now at the point where they don't care. They think just getting a Republican elected and just getting a so-called conservative elected is going to make everything better in America. And it simply is not true. We have two parties that are part of the same system. There is only one party with two halves, and they have near identical domestic and foreign policies. As I've said before, with the exception of a few hot-button, emotional issues that the party line drones and corporate puppets drag out in order to make sure everybody remembers who the conservatives and who the liberals are. So there's my bottom line. The party line drones all are drinking Kool-Aid. It just comes in different flavors. So maybe it's time to drop this cliche, because just like the cliche about half of America hating this country, it just doesn't hold water. But if you hold water and you have water, it's pretty easy to make Kool-Aid. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.